Welcome to our summer orientation video to help you understand our program. For our new students, welcome to our school. For our returning students, this is another great way for you to get brief reminders of what our school looks like, and I'm also going to introduce you to some new things that we will be doing this year. So again, welcome to everyone. The second page of the slideshow is going to be for you to view the video that I'm creating right now. So I'm Mr. Demers. I'm one of the elementary teachers, and I'm going to walk you through some of the important things that you need to know about our program. Throughout this presentation, you're going to look at a personalized ongoing weekly plan. You're going to look at the overview of the student workload along with the parent expectations. And we are going to go through some of the digital citizen expectations as well as academic honesty. And then I'm going to introduce you to some slides that you can learn a little bit more about our grading program and levels of mastery, along with what our feedback will look like. And then lastly, for the parents, a parent resource center to help you with any questions you may have. So first of all, again, welcome back, and we do have many new changes in our program. So for the returning students, it's important to watch this because you might see some new things that you might go, yeah, that's new from last year. So it's great to go through this whole presentation. It's going to be less than 15 minutes total. So here you'll be working with two groups of teachers, and that's the same as we were last year. And for our new students, you'll start to realize that first, second week how it feels. But each student is going to be assigned a homeroom teacher who tracks the student's progress, creates the weekly plan, which is ongoing this year, shares that weekly plan and has your weekly conference with you, and then is your go-to person for questions and assistance right after your parents or whoever's at home helping you. You're also going to have a teacher that's going to be subject specific. So you'll have a science, a social studies, a literacy, and a math conference e-session every week where it's going to be based upon ability level or grade level. And then lastly, you'll also have a music class weekly with Mrs. Hauser, our music teacher. The first week of school, you're going to log into Blackboard using your school username and password, and this is the link right here in the blue. And then you're going to complete the orientation, and there will be a handful of different tasks depending on the grade level you're in, and there will be 6 different assignments that are going to be due in that orientation. So make sure that you turn that in. One main difference that we have this year is all grades are going to be submitted and work is going to be submitted through Blackboard. So it's a little bit different than last year, but you're still going to be using your Google Drive. In regards to testing throughout the year, there are 3 different tests that we administer. The MAPS test, which is going to be for grades 2 through 5 for math and literacy. And this will take place 3 times throughout the year, and it's going to help us track your progress. And it's also going to help teachers adjust our curriculum to the needs of each of you. So it's very important that you do your best on this. You will be doing it from the comfort of your own home. For the younger students, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade, you'll be doing the PALS testing. Again, it's 3 times a year, fall, winter, and spring, and it's to track some growth in the literacy field, and also for us to make adjustments as teachers to help cater to your needs. And then the 3rd test is the Ford exam, and this is the only test that you'll have to go physically to a place to take, and it's for grades 3 and up. And this occurs in the spring, and it's a state mandated test. So this will be the highest stakes test, but don't stress over it right now, and we have plenty of different activities to help you prepare for that test when the time comes. So just making you aware. Each week, you're going to have 2 different things. So the weekly conferences, which are in Zoom, and then those e-sessions or classes I was telling you about. The weekly conferences are going to be with your homeroom teacher, and that's where we'll go through assignments, instruction, concerns, and feedback. They're roughly 15 minutes, and that first email that we send out to you will have a place to sign up, and that'll be your time and day for the rest of the year, so it's easy to plan around. And then your e-sessions, or group class time, which are science, social studies, literacy, and math, will be 30 minutes long, and that's where we work with groups and collaborate with one another, and that's where we go through major concepts to make sure that you understand the different things that you're supposed to be learning. Each week you'll also get a weekly learning plan, and with that it's going to look somewhat like this, and this year a little different from last year. It's going to be a running plan, so we're not going to have a new document each week. We're going to literally add on to it every week so that it's easy for you to go back and find if you missed an assignment somewhere. Also, all of the presentations and units that are located on Blackboard will have your what to turn in every single week. For student expectations, you'll be doing some online programs every week depending on your age level. Some of those programs for literacy are going to be Lexia, Reading A to Z, Raz Kids, uh, and Head Sprouts. For math, Alex, 10 Marks, Khan, and Dreambox are going to be our main online programs. For our project-based units, which are going to be all of the listed ones here, you'll have art, music, phy-ed, health, science, and social studies. Those are generally going to be 5 to 6 week units that take place. There will be less literacy and math than the last year for those of you that are returning within these science and social studies units, because we're actually creating units of science and math and literacy, and that's where your learning is going to take place for math and literacy this year. So there are going to be less programs, but more instruction from things like Khan. Parent expectations, and this is going to be what you will need to do to help your students succeed. You need to be available to assist your student for 4 to 6 hours a day. And one thing that you'll notice is throughout the year, the time will probably become less and less. That's because at the beginning of the year, your student is still trying to adjust to the way the school works and trying to fit a schedule. And by the end of the year, many of them are very self-sufficient. So just keep that in mind. You're going to help your children create a schedule, and if you have questions about that, you can ask any of your teachers. Monitor your child and make sure that they are keeping up and are on track. You are also welcome to report any concerns or specific strategies or questions to your homeroom teacher or any of your teachers. And then also, lastly, we would like you to be present for your weekly Zoom sessions, which are going to be those 15-minute sessions. It helps that you're there, or at least in the proximity, so that if you have questions or if we have questions for you, it's easy to ask. I already mentioned some of the literacy programs that we use. Lexia and Reading A to Z are the main ones. We also have a spelling program that's located on Blackboard the first time you log in. And I also already mentioned some of the math programs. We'll be using a lot more Khan Academy this year, and we'll be using many of the other ones for assessment purposes. Science and social study, again, are going to be 5 6-week units, and it focuses on grade level concepts and skills in each subject. And we integrate real world literacy and math connections, but again, it's going to be a little bit less than last year. We want you to focus more on this science and social studies content. So just so for those returning students who are going, Mr. Demers, help me out here, we took all of your considerations and we made some changes. So it should fit well. For art, there are 6 different artists that you will be working on throughout the year, and with that you learn about the artist and then you complete an assignment that has to do with the artist. This year there will be 2 different pieces of artwork per unit that you have to turn in. For phy-ed and health, that's another one that's going to be 5 different units, and we focus not only on your physical health but also your mental health and your nutrition. So you'll be learning about different pieces around that in your phy-ed class. For music, you'll have weekly eSessions and assignments from Mrs. Hauser. Now on to some academic expectations for students. First of all, your Gmail account, which is assigned to you by the district, is supposed to be specifically for school-related purposes only. We would suggest that you check that regularly, and by that we mean daily, or even keep it open all the time so that you can always know if someone's emailing you, and just make sure that the chat is school appropriate. We don't mind you chatting with other students, but know that we can view your chats even if you try to delete them. Also, for academic honesty, make sure that you are not plagiarizing in any way, and these are just some examples of how you might plagiarize. And that's something that we're going to help you with as teachers throughout the year, because you're young students. This might be the first time you're really using some of the resources online, and we want to help you through that. So just be aware of these. And these are a couple of ways in which you can prevent academic dishonesty, and again, we'll be teaching you these throughout the year. The last thing for academic honesty is that we do use different engines to help us see if you are being academically honest. The biggest one that we use is called SafeAssign, and that's by Blackboard. And once you submit certain things, it'll actually tell us if it's plagiarized or not. So just be aware of that. And like I said, we're going to be teaching you this throughout the year. So it's not something that I want you to worry too much about right away. When we at eAchieve, we look at kind of a tripartite team, and it takes 3 different things to achieve absolute success. The first is going to be our school, which is going to be the teachers and the administration. We're going to set up a very specific curriculum for you and be there to answer questions and help you along the way. The next part of that formula for success, that second angle of the triangle is going to be the student, and that's where most of the work is going to take place, and you have to take it upon yourself to work hard and try to achieve great things. Lastly is the parent. That's where the support system. So we've got the student who's going to be kind of at the peak of a triangle. If you can picture it here, I'll do it with my cursor. The student will be up here, and then the school and parent will be sort of supporting that that student who's going to be high on top of the triangle, and we're going to be able to achieve great success with that. So keep that in mind throughout the school year. If you're ever struggling, we're a team, all three of us, all three groups of us. The next slide, if you'd like to learn about our levels of mastery from our principal, Mr. Nettesheim, you are more than welcome to watch this YouTube video. Next is going to be a little bit on grading and feedback. I'm going to skip this slide because I'm going to go right in here, but all of your work is going to be submitted through Blackboard, but your feedback for the most part is going to be in Google Drive. So you're going to be creating documents and presentations and charts in Google Drive and submitting links to Blackboard. Then after you do that, you'll be receiving feedback, and it's going to look something like this. So it'll show up right in the document, and sometimes we'll even talk to you while you're working on your document. And then you can hit the resolve button to show us that you have resolved the comment. We can always go back and look at them, and you always can too. But it's a great way to kind of have a checklist to make sure that you are answering questions and comments that we have for you because we're helping you grow. The last part of our presentation here is going to be a little bit for the parents and also a get to know the teachers. So first of all, if the parents go to slide 28, this is going to be linked to the Parent Resource Center for eAchieve students and parents. So feel free to use that whenever you need. If you ever need tech support for your laptop, feel free to call Milwaukee PC. We are, as teachers, we have a little bit of access to answering some of your questions that are going to be more to do with the internet and things like that. But if it's something to do with your computer or the hardware on your computer, best place to go is going to be Milwaukee PC. Next, I'm going to introduce you to our three teachers. First of all, we have Mrs. Stover, and she is going to be working mostly with kindergarten and first grade. We have Mrs. Diamantopoulos, who is going to be working mostly with second and third graders. And again, that's not strictly along the lines because we'll all actually have all kindergarten through fifth graders in our classes, but mostly. And then lastly, my name is Mr. Demers, and I'll be working mostly with the fourth and fifth graders. The last person I'd like you to meet is going to be our music teacher, and that's Miss Hauser. So she'll be in charge of your weekly music class. The last thing before I say goodbye to you is, again, I want to welcome everyone into our community. We at eAchieve are really excited to welcome back our old students and invite all of our new ones to some of the great things that are going to be going on throughout the year. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask someone who is present with you right now at the orientation, or feel free to email any of the three teachers with questions that you may have. Have a wonderful day.